Introducing the Open Palm Podcast with host Jerome Shaw, available today on your favorite podcast platforms. The Open Palm Podcast is a positive, uplifting, motivational, and inspirational podcast. The host brings his insight and philosophy, and you can't help but gravitate towards his smile, his words, and his wisdom. Again, the podcast he hosts is titled The Open Palm Podcast. It's about inspirational messages, motivating themes, and thought-provoking ideas and topics. He'll also help you become more aware and in harmony with your own life, giving you a better understanding of your place in the world and using your skills accordingly, greeting the world with an open palm instead of a closed fist. You can find the show today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. You can also connect with the host on Instagram at JRomeShaw. That's JROMESHAW on Instagram. Jerome Shaw with the Open Palm Podcast. Motivation, meditation, mentality. Go listen, download, and subscribe today.
There is a story of Kakua, who was the first Japanese to imbibe Zen teaching in China. But few people know it was he who introduced Zen into his land, because he revealed nothing except one note. When Kakua visited China, he received the teaching. He lived in a remote mountainous region, constantly meditating. When people stumbled upon him, they would ask him to preach. Kakua would utter a few words and move off to an even more inaccessible place in the mountains. But Kakua's fame spread, and the Japanese emperor came to know of him. When he returned to his country, the emperor invited him to the court and requested him to impart his teaching, both for his own knowledge and that of the people. Kakua stood in front of the emperor, pulling out a flute from within his robe. He blew a single note. He then bowed politely and walked out. What do you gather from this story, my friend? The story entitled Zen in a Note. Often they say the most genius things in life are simple. There is a brilliant genius in simplicity. There are some who say they know of Zen, others who teach of Zen, and then there are some who say that you don't preach Zen, neither do you learn it. Zen is something that just is, just like all these people, these humans doing. You can be a human being by simply just being. There is a saying in the Tao Te Ching that I feel could take a lifetime to understand, but it is a humbling one for me and many others. This saying says, "Those who know do not talk. Those who talk do not know." I really was puzzled the first time I heard that saying. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. What does it mean? What does it mean? I asked myself. I'm not supposed to speak? I can't share this knowledge? Is it not knowledge if I choose to share it? Is it only knowledge if I do not share it? Do I have to keep this to myself? Is that fair? Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. Really humbling quote. But just like this story of Kakua, who when asked what he knew of Zen to display his knowledge, he simply pulled out a flute and blew a single note. There is a Japanese saying about the shakuhachi flute, the bamboo flute that I love to play. This saying says, "One note suffices." Thank you for listening, my friend. This has been Jerome Shaw on TOP, the Open Palm Podcast here in San Antonio, Texas. I pray you received an encouraging message, perhaps inspiring you or enlightening you somehow to know that knowledge can mean so many things, and so can wisdom. But sometimes the wisest thing to say is nothing at all. For a wise man once said, nothing. Share this with a like-minded individual who is learning and growing, becoming their greatest version just like you. Pay it forward so more can hear the message. And if this is your very first time receiving this podcast, definitely subscribe for more inspirational messages like this. And if you feel compelled to support, consider opening your browser to anchor.fm/jshaw. Clicking that support link there is much appreciated. Big shout out and thank you to all the wonderful supporters who continue to donate to the podcast, making it possible for episodes like this. Have a wonderful and blessed day or night wherever you are. Grab the new book now out on Amazon called Finding Inner Peace by Jerome Shaw. You'll find the link for that book in the episode description of the show notes. And as always, my friend, take care. Hey there, my friend. So you've heard about Anchor, but do you know why it's the easiest way to make a podcast? Well, first off, it's free. It allows you to use creation tools that let you record your podcast right from your phone or computer. It also distributes your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with minimum listenership. It's everything you need in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Can't wait to hear yours. Let's see what you have to offer the world.